Good afternoon. Welcome to Recycling, Composting, and Gardening, the first in the fourth of the series of webinars for the Clean, Green, and Healthy Tribal Schools Initiative that are scheduled each Wednesday since January the 18th through February the 22nd at this same time. Several of the programs are double features, and today you will enjoy a triple play. You're joining 128 other guests from communities, tribes, government agencies, universities, schools, Head Start programs, businesses, and architectural and engineering firms. Thank you for your interest in the health of our schools and our communities. There are 4 ways that you will be invited to participate in this and other webinars in the series. Following the presentation, we will invite your questions. You may present a question or a comment in either of 2 ways. The first is to raise your hand. Simply click on the symbol of the hand in the control panel that you see on the right-hand side of your screen. During the question and answer session, I will open your microphone or telephone so that you can ask the question on the air. Other participants will hear your question and the presenter's answer. You may also submit a question by typing it in the question box in the lower part of the panel. I will forward that question on to the presenter, and you may remain anonymous if you prefer and ask me to keep you that way. We want to know what you know and what you learn from participating in the webinar. So we've included 2 polls in which you'll be invited to participate. When you leave the session, you'll also be asked to respond to 4 multiple choice survey questions. That should take 40 seconds or less to complete. In addition to today's 3 programs, 3 or 6 depending on how you count them, more webinar topics will be covered in the next 2 Wednesdays, including indoor air quality tools for schools, radon and mold, scheduled for next Wednesday, February the 15th. Please join us for any or all of these programs. Information about the 2 webinar days, the 3 topics, and the links for registration for the remaining webinars can be found at www.epa.gov/region8/tribal schools. 9 diverse professionals, known experts in their fields, have looked forward to providing this and the other 2 webinar weeks sessions. In the event that you were unable to attend the first 3 webinar double features, including school chemical cleanout, lead-based paint, integrated pest management, and green cleaning in schools, all the webinars will soon be available at www.epa.gov/region8/tribal schools. I'd like to introduce the people behind the scenes of the Clean, Green, and Healthy Tribal Schools Initiative. At the top left is Contract Manager Matthew Langenfeld. Matthew is the Chemicals Initiative Coordinator for the Pollution Prevention and Toxics Unit of the Environmental Protection Agency in Region 8. Sean Lopez, President and owner of Orion Environmental, is the Project Manager. Orion Environmental provides environmental site assessments, abatement, removal, and inspection for schools and other buildings, also contracting and training. Finally, I am Dr. Carolina Smiley Marcus, the Project Coordinator and your facilitator for the webinars. I provide neutral and educational professional services. I specialize in multi-party, government-to-government, and environmental decision-making and conflict resolution. I would like to introduce your speaker, Virginia Till. Virginia is a graduate student at the University of Colorado, Denver. She's an intern with the Pollution Prevention and Toxics Unit at the Environmental Protection Agency. She brings experience in waste management, recycling, and composting, and is a member of Region 8's Green Ops team. Before Virginia gives you the answers, will you respond to 2 questions by selecting and clicking on the answer that you prefer? After everyone has indicated your choices, I'll share the results with you. So here's question number 1. I am familiar with the State Electronics Challenge, TerraCycle, and WasteWise programs. So if you'll select an answer. Votes are coming in very rapidly. %89 have voted, so I'm going to close the poll. Thank you. And share the results with you. It looks like, Virginia, that there's some mixed answers here, so you will have some things to talk about. Let's look at one more question. So here's the second poll. I am I understand how a waste management green team, communication plan, and waste reduction can help me start recycling in my school. So if you will vote for this one as well. All right, more than 80% have voted. I'll close the poll and share the results with you. Again, Virginia, it looks like we've got some mixed responses here. All right, thank you. Virginia will tell you the why, what, who, and how to make recycling a part of your school's culture. Virginia?
All right, thank you so much for that great introduction, Carolina, and for coordinating this excellent webinar series. I'm advancing the slide here. It's my sincere pleasure to speak with you today about a subject near and dear to my heart, reducing waste and recycling. I hope you'll find this a useful presentation, and if there's one message for you today, it's that your school can find a recycling program that works for your needs. With a great team, collaboration, and the enthusiasm of students and community, a waste reduction program is possible, no matter where you are or what your resources. I'd like to talk for a moment about this great graphic with the earth and circling arrows of air, land, and water. This is a perfect image for waste reduction and recycling because we think about where products or materials come from, where they go, and how they can be reused. For example, say you collect plastic bags from your community. Those bags can be made into materials for a playground or park bench. Or think about what a school buys, all the paper used in the school and what the production of this paper does to the earth. The school could buy recycled content paper and complete the circle of production, use, end of use, and reuse. Talking about the cycle of materials is one way your school can teach the community while helping students learn they really can make a difference. Following my presentation, you'll be able to describe the benefits of recycling, discuss recycling program options that fit your school's needs, describe steps to implement recycling, and recognize potential program partners and resources. I also want to highly encourage all of you to download this presentation as it will be available after the webinar series ends. You can then make great use of the many resources that I'll discuss today. So, some people may ask, what are the benefits to recycling? Number one is saving the environment. Students easily understand they can do their part to save the earth by reducing waste and recycling. Recycling saves precious materials that would otherwise have to be mined or extracted from the earth, and saving those materials also prevents additional pollution from being added to our soil, air, and water. A school waste reduction plan can reduce local pollution and greenhouse gas emissions from burning and landfills, and by diverting materials, less landfill space is used and less incinerator pollution is generated. A recycling program can also help your school comply with recycling mandates and landfill disposal bans. While the environmental benefits of waste reduction and recycling may be the first thing that comes to mind, there are many other reasons to start a program. Can you go to the previous slide? Thank you. These are great points you can use to convince the community to participate. Next slide, please. There we go. Perfect. So again, as I mentioned, these are excellent points you can use to convince your community to participate in a recycling program. For some people, money really is the bottom line. While it's true some new programs might have startup costs, Recycling can also help save money or maybe even make money. By reducing the tons of trash your school sends to the landfill, waste and disposal costs may actually decrease. Also, some materials are valuable, and your school might be able to generate revenue through the sale of recyclables, such as metal, cardboard, or aluminum. Maybe the best benefit of a recycling program is that you can teach and engage the students and community. Learning about waste reduction helps students develop collaboration and leadership skills, as well as environmental stewardship. What student doesn't want to break out of the regular school day and feel special because he's part of the school green team, picking up paper from classrooms? I bet all of you know some kids who would love to ask their teachers why the classroom paper recycling bin is only a quarter full. By engaging the community and individuals such as parents, waste haulers, and regional contacts, a collaborative program can better protect your local environment. The next question is, well, how do I get started? First, find people who are interested in recycling to form your green team. These are individuals who would like to reach your goals. Next, you'll want to find out what materials are currently in your trash cans. Then you'll know what opportunities you'll have for recycling. After that, you can determine what kind of program works best for your school. Something sustainability programs may forget to do, but one that's very important is celebrate success. Don't forget to include everyone who worked on the program and advertise your success to the community. Lastly, after start of any program, you want to figure out what worked and what didn't. You can find areas for improvement and ways to adapt best to your school and community's needs. Before you form your green team, figure out resources. Knowing your resources can convince others to join the green team, show that they're not alone, and that there are tools available to get the job done. The first key person is your tribe's environmental director. If you don't currently have a director, try to find someone who wants to be your environmental champion for this project. Regional and national recycling associations are also great places for information, and websites usually offer tips, newsletters, webinars, success stories, and much more to help you get started. Other schools with recycling can also be great contacts and mentors. With a little searching, you'd be surprised how many great, free resources are out there. Another possible support is your local tribal college or university. Colleges often want to participate in community projects, and starting school recycling could be just the thing they're looking for. Ask around at various college departments and see what's possible. Your local waste hauler and government partners can also offer valuable insight and support. Local and national businesses might even have an interest in helping you too. Today's businesses often want to show how they help communities, and your recycling program could be the perfect project. Your tribe may also be able to apply for state recycling funding and partner with a not-for-profit organization. Here in Colorado, the Ute Mountain Ute, in coordination with the Four Corners Recycling Initiative, was able to get funding from state dumping fees because the tribe partnered with a local landfill and a not-for-profit organization. By using multiple partners, there's now a strong recycling program in the area. In fact, through the tribe's efforts, all the schools in the area, many of which are not specifically tribal schools, now have recycling. So it's exciting that in this particular case, the tribe was a driving factor in getting recycling into the area. Steps for success. Forming a green team is all about collaboration and communication. First, start with your school and try to approach everyone by asking for input and interest in starting recycling. You may find everyone from the students to the facilities staff to the school administrators have valuable insights and excitement to offer. Also, approach your tribe and find potential green team champions from your tribe's leaders and environmental department. Then talk to various community members from local businesses to government to the local waste disposal service. You should think about anyone involved in purchase of school items, generation of school waste, collection, transport, and policy making. Again, thinking about the entire circle will help you make a great program. Don't forget, your local waste hauler is an important person to include on your green team who can help you make the program a success. While it might seem overwhelming at first to think about all these details, you'll find it very helpful to ask for support and input from as many people as possible. Teamwork and collaboration do take time, but you'll find your waste reduction and recycling program is more successful in the long term if more people are involved. The next step for success involves some detective work. By looking at what's in your trash, how it got there, and where it goes, you can figure out what materials you might be able to reuse and recycle in your community. When you're studying your waste, decide how long you'll collect the trash, for one day or the same day every week for a couple of weeks maybe. Resources I talked about earlier can provide tips on how to do a formal or informal waste assessment. You can even just take a walk around the school and make an easy visual check of things that can be reused or recycled. Customize your waste assessment to meet your needs. The beauty of looking at your school's trash, if trash can be called beautiful, is you start getting a clear picture of your most common materials. The green team can then figure out what to reduce, say by better buying, and then decide what can be reused or recycled. You could even have an event like the Ute Mountain Ute did for Earth Day last year called Let's Talk Trash. This was part of a communication and fundraising campaign targeting local governments and businesses. The presenter took bags of trash onto the stage at the high school, poured out the trash in front of the kids and community members, and then went through the trash talking about what could have been reused and recycled. The kids loved it, and it was fun, engaging, and educational. Before you recycle, I want to stress there are many things you can do before you recycle. Reducing or reusing items is preferred before recycling. Once you have reduced and reused all you can, only then do you recycle. Find the low-hanging fruit that's easy and cheap to get. You could change default computer settings to print double-sided, for example, or change default margins to use less paper. You might even ask teachers to print half-page take-home flyers whenever possible, rather than full-page flyers. Also, consider items that can be reused or donated before they end up in the trash can. This could be a great project for the students on your green team to take on. What student wouldn't like telling teachers how to change things in the classroom? Click once more, please. This is a simple visual illustrating what I was talking about earlier, mainly that reducing and reusing at the top of the diagram are preferred actions before recycling, which is the third level from the top. After finding out what's in your school trash and what can be reused, figure out the most common recyclable items. These may be aluminum cans, mixed office paper, or cardboard. With a bit more detective work, you can find out which materials have supported recycling in your community. Again, your tribe's environmental director can be extremely helpful with this information. If there are no recycling resources in your area, don't give up. I'll talk about other options available to you later in the presentation. When you've figured out what's in your trash and where your support will come from, the next step is deciding what type of recycling program works best for your school and community. The type of recycling, how often you do it, and who's involved may change over time. The first option is a one-time collection event. The next would be an annual event, and the last would be an ongoing collection program operating year-round. The timing of your recycling can also depend on the type of material you're collecting. You may want to recycle one thing in the fall and another thing in the spring. You could also combine programs. For example, collecting electronics one time only, plastic bottles a couple of times a year, and aluminum cans year-round. Depending on what local recycling services are available to you, you may find a combination of strategies work best. Always carefully plan, too, where you'll safely store the recycling collected. This is especially important for electronics and paper products to avoid chemical or fire hazards. Again, your tribe's environmental director can be a great help. If you choose to do a one-time event, this type of recycling event can make a big difference in your community. This event generates excitement, collaboration, and focus for your school. You can coordinate with other groups too. For example, an all-tribe collection day held at your school, an event with the Boys and Girls Club, a high school band fundraiser, a BIA collection event, a chapter house meeting, or even an annual ceremonial event specific to your community. These events can help your green team learn more about organizing events and communicating success. Any type of recycling event can help students feel empowered to make a positive change while giving them a sense of true accomplishment that is meaningful both individually and to the community. It's a great teaching tool. There are excellent options for annual events also. Many tribes hold annual Earth Day celebrations to bring together community members and celebrate environmental stewardship. You could also register your school for America Recycles Day on November 15th. I'll discuss this later in the presentation. Or why not hold an annual classroom cleanout day? The glue company Elmer's offers a glue crew brigade program that accepts empty Elmer's glue sticks and glue bottles. Elmer's then donates 2 cents to your school for each item when you send a minimum of 500 containers, and shipping is free. You might also want to collect old crayons left in classrooms at the end of the year and arrange donation to a charitable organization for reuse. Another fun event for students of all ages is an annual costume contest. You could hold a contest demonstrating creativity by making costumes from recycled materials and awarding prizes for various categories. Again, partnering with another event is a great way to go. This can include local sustainability fairs, green business fairs, and college events. This slide is an example of a recycling materials costume show that we held here in the EPA building. This was a superhero costume made from recycled CDs, paper, and cardboard from copy paper containers. You could even make a recycle hero costume to serve as a spokesperson for your program. You could also collect old athletic shoes like we did for Bring Your Kids to Work Day. We gave these shoes to Nike for their Reuse a Shoe program. Nike separates the athletic shoes and reuses the different materials to make basketball courts and athletic fields. The kids had fun weighing the 100 pounds of shoes we collected, and it was a great example of the circle, from production to use, end of use, and reuse. By teaching about where materials come from, go after use, and how they can be reused or recycled, students and their parents can understand how to complete the cycle of materials to better protect the earth for the future. I found that parents were also very interested in this activity because they didn't know about the reuse issue. A third option is a year-round recycling program. After your waste assessment, you might decide to collect aluminum cans only. Or, for schools with strong local recycling, you may decide mixed recycling is a better choice. Keep in mind the type of material you recycle may be heavily dependent on local recycling programs. With a little research, you'll find there's a way to make a program work for you. You can always adapt as needed. Whatever material you do choose, find a way to support your efforts for the long term. It's the worst feeling in the world to have a great recycling program one year and then find you don't have enough support the next year. Communication and education directly relate to how well your materials are collected. If you have something in the wrong bin, this can cause headaches for you and the recycler. If there are plastic bottles in the aluminum can bin, for example, you'll get less money per ton from the recycler. That's why a clear and well-designed communication plan is so important. Many people want to do the right thing with recycling, so good communication is the best tool you can give them to get the job done. Knowledge is key. Once you've decided what kind of program you want to start at your school, then you and your green team can figure out how you want to communicate. Chat about your program goals and what you want people to know, and how you want to communicate your message. Some great questions to help you are, why do people in your school or community not want to recycle? Or why do they want to recycle? What do they find confusing? What do people find fun, easy, and rewarding about recycling? There are many answers to these questions, but once you have more information, you'll be able to design your communication. This is an excellent time for kids of all ages to get involved. Children can learn leadership skills by giving presentations, develop creativity and teamwork by making poster designs, and planning community education events. What kid wouldn't love to see his or her flyer posted all over town? Again, ask yourself, what do you want people to know, and what's the best way to tell them? This poster, developed by the Navajo Nation, launched a recycling initiative with the support of Miss Navajo. The Navajo Nation coordinated a new recycling program during the first annual Treaty Day celebration in Window Rock, Arizona, and money raised from collecting aluminum was donated to a youth group for helping the Navajo Nation go green. This is an excellent example of a one-time event that may be repeated in the future. It engaged the community, was culturally meaningful, and formed a partnership with a local business. In addition to posters like this, also consider how you'll communicate with local newspapers, TV, and radio. Once you're ready to start your program, take advantage of the enthusiasm of your green team and include as many other volunteers as possible. As you can see, this type of program is an effective teaching tool for students of all ages. Learning how to collaborate, communicate, and organize a recycling program is a great way to apply important concepts in a hands-on, real-world experience. Asking students to be on the school's green team will cultivate feelings of improved self-esteem, responsibility, and importance. Helping a child take pride in the school and community is a meaningful lesson that will last. And while the idea of starting a program may sound a bit intimidating at first, don't forget that it should be fun and easy to do. If organizers are having fun, then the students and community will have fun too, and it'll be a positive experience for everyone. Another step for success is evaluation and adaptation. Here's another example of the circle. In this case, looking at things, improving what you can, and then adjusting for future success. Following your event or ongoing program after the first year, take some time to chat with your green team and find out what worked and what didn't. Did you achieve your goals? Were your goals a good fit? Why did people recycle or not recycle? Maybe you had someone who wasn't convinced of the reasons to recycle. Other people might say individuals can't make a difference. Find out more and make a plan to include these hard-to-convince folks next year. Keep in mind, if you don't meet all your goals the first time out, that's okay, because now you have more information. These types of programs are always works in progress. Again, you can adapt as you find better ways to do things. By finding people who want to support your efforts long-term, you'll be able to organize a program that's adaptable, fun, easy, and something that'll become a tradition in the community. Maybe the most important part of any recycling program is celebrating success. By telling people what you've accomplished, you encourage current and future participation. You can invite the community to a school event celebrating the start of your program. As you know from working with kids of all ages, and shown by this photo, student enthusiasm is infectious. Make good use of kids' excitement. Keep in mind, too, that simply starting any program, whether it be a one-time event, annual event, or ongoing collection program, is a success. Now for some useful program partners to assist you in starting and maintaining waste reduction and recycling. The first is EPA's WasteWise program. Through this free program, you can track the materials you collect and then receive an annual climate profile for your school. This report shows how your recycling made a difference for the environment. It's a great way to translate recycling into everyday terms by showing your positive impact on the earth. WasteWise can also provide outreach materials and technical assistance. There are even awards for recycling and waste prevention, as well as the opportunity to use the WasteWise logo on communication. EPA also offers many student and teacher resources about pollution prevention. Many are free and can be ordered or downloaded from the EPA website. Another great program for schools is TerraCycle. This free program provides an easy way for schools to recycle materials you might not consider recyclable. Through this program, recycling can include candy wrappers, chip bags, cereal bags, drink pouches, small electronics, and many more. Your school chooses a waste brigade, collects items and sends them to TerraCycle for 2 cents per unit for your school, charity, or even prizes. Most brigades include free shipping, and you may combine some materials. TerraCycle is a great way to get the community involved and get students excited about collecting different materials. Another program partner is the State Electronics Challenge. By becoming a State Electronics Challenge partner, your school will demonstrate environmental leadership in the community and help your local environment. By purchasing green computers and recycling old ones, you decrease energy use, lower greenhouse gas emissions, avoid production of municipal solid waste, decrease hazardous waste, and avoid use of toxic materials. Your school could also reduce costs through energy savings. In addition, the State Electronics Challenge provides toolkits, one-on-one technical assistance, and teleconferences, all aimed at helping you purchase greener electronics, reduce environmental impacts, and reuse and recycle responsibly. The State Electronics Challenge is a great resource for responsible electronics use and end of use. You could also connect with a Keep America Beautiful affiliate, or make your community an affiliate to work towards local litter prevention, waste reduction, and community beautification. A great annual event sponsored by Keep America Beautiful is America Recycles Day, each fall on November 15th. You can register your event, big or small, and receive free giveaways, promotional materials, and teaching tools. This is a great event you can do to generate community interest and kick off your school recycling efforts. You could also start your recycling program earlier in the year and then celebrate your success on America Recycles Day. Keep America Beautiful is a great resource for many useful tools. As I mentioned at the start of the presentation, I highly encourage you to download these slides so you may refer to the information later. Especially useful will be this list of recycling resource links you can find on the internet. There are many others, but your tribe's environmental director will be able to help you find the most useful resources for your community. I'm going to hand it over to Carolina for a last poll, and then we'll have time for your questions. Thank you, Carolina.
Thank you, Virginia. We'll get to your questions next, but we hope Virginia's presentation on recycling has added to or refreshed your knowledge on the issue. Will you respond to the following polls, and we'll see how well you had an opportunity to learn. So here's the first one. The State Electronics Challenge, TerraCycle, and WasteWise are programs that, wait for your voting, oh, lots of voting. Looks like the numbers have changed, Virginia, after your presentation. All right, we're more than half have voted. I'm going to close the poll and share the results with you. Excellent. So we'll hide the results and we'll see about the next question. Waste management, let's see. I think we must have jumped ahead here. Waste management, green team, communication plan, and waste reduction can help me start a recycling program in my school. So we'll hide these results. Virginia, do you have anything to say about the polls?
So I was happy to see that I provided some useful information. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right. So let's see if our audience has any questions. There are two ways, remember, that you can ask a question. You may raise your hand, or you can insert a question in the question box. To assist us with questions is Rebecca Wilson. Rebecca is an intern for the pollution prevention and a student in environmental sciences at Metro State in Denver, Colorado. So Rebecca, I don't see any additional questions come up. There is one statement. I wonder if you would share that with the listeners.
Hello, Carolina.
Hello.
We do have a listener that is concerned that it was indicated there was potential revenue available from recycling. Most recycling programs succeed primarily as a waste reduction and cost avoidance program, not revenue producers. The volatility of the commodity markets usually result in limited potential for revenue, and they would like you to clarify.
All right, so Virginia, would you like to add to that?
Thank you for that question. Thank you for that question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I appreciate that feedback. I do want to make it clear that recycling should not be approached as a revenue maker. I want to clarify there's potential to maybe receive some money from materials collected, but as far as producing enough revenue to sustain a program, that is very challenging, especially for rural areas. So the person that commented is absolutely correct that it's primarily a pollution prevention and waste reduction program. And examples like TerraCycle that I gave, the school could get money from that program to generate a few funds and also to maybe get prizes and that kind of thing. It's a very limited basis, though. The attendee is perfectly correct in that. And the commodities market is very volatile, so it shouldn't be approached as, oh, we're going to make a great amount of money and it'll be sustainable. It's maybe an add-on perk that might be possible, if that makes sense.
Thank you. And Rebecca, I see there's another comment there. So the commenter says, we're looking forward to receiving the slides and or PowerPoint of this presentation. And so I'd like to let you know that, in fact, all of that will be available. It takes us about a week to do the editing. You could see that there were a few little glitches that we need to touch up. And so those are available. The recycling program will be available not this coming Friday, but next Friday. And thank you for your interest. Any other questions from our participants? I'm looking to see if anybody has their hand up. Oh, here's one. So John, I'm going to unmute you, and that means that you can speak directly to the presenter. Are you ready for that?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
In fact, our reservation in Minnesota, we do have a green team, and they've involved different, like both our college and our also our bingo palace, and we're in the process of setting up the recycling, and we use waste generation logs so we can figure out how much of the recycling at the end of the year that we can cut down. And this is pretty much it's a money reducing, because we spend a lot of money on, you know, taking off our waste and stuff like this, and this is what we're working for. And so we're involved in the recycling, and then we're going straight forward into the composting, the gardening, and the greenhouses with this too, which a lot of those things are intact now too. And so that's mainly the way we're doing it. Is our green team is pretty much reservation wide, and it involves almost all of our departments, including the Department of Resource Management also with it.
Thank you, John. Virginia, any comments or encouragement? Sounds very positive, doesn't it? So Virginia,
Hi, thank you so much, John, for that comment. And that's an excellent point that you make, that you can actually save money when you're trying to reduce. And I implied that a little bit in the presentation, but you had a great example. So when you actually look at what you buy and what you use and what goes into the trash, that's an excellent point, that by making your processes more efficient, you can actually save some money. So thank you so much for that comment.
Great. It's kind of nice to hear from people who are our participants. Anyone else have something to say? Please raise your hand or send in a question. Give people a second to consider. So I don't see any hands raised or any questions being asked. All right, well, thank you so much for attending the Recycle webinar. After this brief announcement, please stay with us for presentations by Diane Jordan on composting, and John brought that up, composting and gardening in tribal schools. And following Diane's presentation, Virginia, Diane, and I will remain on the broadcast for an additional few minutes to be sure that we've answered all your questions about recycling, composting, and gardening. You're going to see a loss of the screen just for a few minutes while we bring up the other program, and there'll be a little silence so that our recorder can separate the programs. Please hold on, and we'll move into composting.